Your Honor, you can't touch me. 5 words, 1 sentence, the end of entitlement. 22-year-old Victoria Romano just told Judge Frank Caprio he has no authority over her. She's wrong. 12 minutes from now, she'll be in handcuffs. This is her hearing. Monday, 10:17 a.m. Providence Municipal Court. Case number 2025 CR 08447. The clerk stands. The State of Rhode Island versus Victoria Ann Romano. Victoria checks her phone. Doesn't look up. Her attorney, Elliot Vance, $800 an hour defense counsel, leans over and whispers something urgent. She waves him off. Judge Caprio adjusts his glasses. Ms. Romano, please stand. She sighs, stands slowly, still holding her phone. Ms. Romano, please put your phone away. She slides it into her purse like she's doing him a favor. Can we make this quick? I have a spa appointment at noon. The courtroom goes silent. Judge Caprio doesn't flinch. Ms. Romano, you're facing criminal charges. This isn't a scheduling conflict. She shrugs. Your Honor, with all respect, my father sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee. We both know how this ends. Elliot Vance closes his eyes. He knows what's coming. Judge Caprio leans forward. Ms. Romano, your father's position has no bearing on these proceedings. Victoria smiles. Not nervous, confident. We'll see about that. If you believe no one should be above the law, hit subscribe. This gets worse. The clerk continues. Charges: driving under the influence, destruction of government property, resisting arrest, threatening law enforcement officers, and 2 counts of failure to appear. Victoria interrupts. Your Honor, I didn't fail to appear. I was out of state for charity work. Judge Caprio picks up a file. Ms. Romano, you were served 2 summons, both certified, both signed for. I don't remember signing anything. The clerk hands Judge Caprio a document. He reads aloud. Summons 1, signed October 14th, 2024, 2:47 p.m. Summons 2, signed November 3rd, 2024, 11:23 a.m. Victoria waves dismissively. My assistant signs for everything. I can't be expected to know every piece of mail. Judge Caprio's voice stays calm. Ms. Romano, ignorance of court summons is not a defense. She rolls her eyes. Actually rolls her eyes. In court. At a judge. Elliot Vance stands. Your Honor, may I have a moment with my client? You may not. We're proceeding. Vance sits. Privilege doesn't pause procedure. Judge Caprio opens another file. Ms. Romano, let's discuss the incident that brought you here. Victoria crosses her arms. Your Honor, that whole situation was blown out of proportion. Officer Denton, please approach. A uniformed officer stands from the gallery. Officer Paul Denton, Traffic Division, 17 years on the force. He walks to the witness stand. The clerk swears him in. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Judge Caprio nods. Officer Denton, please describe the events of November 9th, 2024. Officer Denton pulls out a notepad. Your Honor, at approximately 2:14 a.m., I observed a black Mercedes sedan traveling southbound on Westminster Street. Victoria mutters something under her breath. Judge Caprio hears it. Ms. Romano, you'll have your chance to speak. She goes quiet. Officer Denton continues. The vehicle ran a red light at the intersection of Westminster and Empire, then another at Mathewson Street. He pauses. At 2:16 a.m., the vehicle struck a parked police cruiser at the corner of Weybosset Street. Judge Caprio looks at Victoria. Ms. Romano, is this accurate so far? She shrugs again. I guess. You guess? Your Honor, I don't remember every detail. It was late. I was tired. Officer Denton speaks up. Your Honor, may I continue? Please. When I approached the vehicle, I immediately detected the odor of alcohol. Ms. Romano exited the vehicle and refused to produce her license. Victoria interrupts. I told him who I was. That should have been enough. Judge Caprio's tone sharpens slightly. Ms. Romano, identification means a driver's license, not a last name. Officer Denton continues. I asked Ms. Romano to submit to a breathalyzer test. She refused. On what grounds? She stated, and I quote, I don't submit to tests from people who work for my family. The courtroom reacts, gasps, murmurs. Judge Caprio raises his hand for silence. Ms. Romano, did you say that? Victoria doesn't deny it. Your Honor, my father's office oversees law enforcement funding. I was simply stating a fact. Judge Caprio removes his glasses, cleans them slowly, puts them back on. Ms. Romano, police officers don't work for your family. They work for the public. She doesn't respond. Officer Denton continues. Your Honor, when I informed Ms. Romano she was under arrest, she stated, You can't arrest me. I have diplomatic immunity. Judge Caprio looks directly at Victoria. Miss Romano, do you believe you have diplomatic immunity? She hesitates. Your Honor, my father explained that Senate families have certain protections. That's incorrect. Your Honor, with respect, my father writes the laws. I think he would know. Senators don't write immunity clauses for their children. That's not civics. That's fantasy. Judge Caprio opens another document. Officer Denton, what happened after you attempted the arrest? Your Honor, Ms. Romano became verbally aggressive. She threatened my job and my pension. What exactly did she say? Officer Denton reads from his report. She said, My father will have your badge before sunrise. You'll be directing traffic in a parking lot by Monday. Victoria speaks up. Your Honor, I was upset. People say things when they're emotional. Judge Caprio's voice stays level. Ms. Romano, threatening a police officer is a criminal offense, not an emotional release. Elliot Vance tries again. Your Honor, my client is young and... Judge Caprio cuts him off. Counselor, your client is 22 years old. She's an adult under the law. Vance sits back down. Judge Caprio turns to Officer Denton. Was there body camera footage? Yes, Your Honor. Please play it. The clerk activates a screen. The video starts. 2:18 a.m. timestamp in the corner. Victoria's voice comes through clearly. Do you know who my father is? Do you have any idea who you're messing with? Officer Denton's voice, calm and professional. Ma'am, I need you to step back and provide your license. Victoria's voice again, louder now. I don't answer to local cops. You answer to me. My father funds your salary. The video continues. Officer Denton attempts to administer the breathalyzer. Victoria swats it away. Get that thing out of my face. I'm calling my father right now. The officer speaks. Ma'am, you're under arrest for driving under the influence and resisting arrest. Victoria's response is crystal clear. You can't touch me. I'm Senator Romano's daughter. You can't touch me. The video ends. The courtroom is silent. 3 seconds. 5. 7. Judge Caprio finally speaks. Ms. Romano, that video was posted online. It has been viewed over 2 million times. Victoria's face flushes. Your Honor, that video was taken without my consent. Body cameras are standard procedure. They protect both officers and civilians. She shifts uncomfortably. Judge Caprio continues. Ms. Romano, at any point did you apologize to Officer Denton? Your Honor, I didn't feel I needed to. Why not? Because I didn't do anything wrong. Officer Denton speaks quietly. Your Honor, may I add something? Go ahead. After Ms. Romano was processed at the station, she asked to speak with the chief. When he arrived, she demanded I be suspended immediately. Judge Caprio looks at Victoria. Is that true? She doesn't deny it. Your Honor, he was disrespectful. How? He treated me like a common criminal. Judge Caprio's voice drops. Ms. Romano, you were driving under the influence. You are a common criminal. That line lands hard. Victoria's attorney shifts in his seat. Judge Caprio isn't done. Officer Denton, did Ms. Romano ever provide her license? No, Your Honor. She refused multiple times. And the breathalyzer? Refused. Did you attempt to contact her father? No, Your Honor. That's not protocol. Judge Caprio nods. Correct. Because a parent's job title is irrelevant to an arrest. Victoria finally shows frustration. Your Honor, this is ridiculous. My father's attorney general friend already reviewed this case. The courtroom freezes. Elliot Vance's head drops into his hands. Judge Caprio leans forward. Ms. Romano, repeat what you just said. She realizes her mistake. Too late. I just meant that my father's connections are aware of the situation. You said his attorney general friend reviewed the case. I misspoke. Ms. Romano, did your father or anyone associated with him contact law enforcement or judicial officials about this case? She hesitates. Your Honor, I don't think that's relevant. Answer the question. Elliot Vance stands. Your Honor, I advise my client not to answer. Judge Caprio's tone hardens. Counselor, sit down. Ms. Romano, answer the question. Victoria looks trapped. Your Honor, my father may have made some calls. To whom? I don't know exactly. But you know he made calls? Yes. Judge Caprio writes something down. Ms. Romano, do you understand what you just admitted? She doesn't answer. You just confessed that your father attempted to interfere with a criminal investigation. Victoria's eyes widen. Your Honor, I didn't say that. You said he made calls about your case. To officials. That's not interference. That's just communication. Judge Caprio closes the file. Bailiff, please contact the FBI Public Integrity Section. Victoria stands up. Your Honor, wait. I was confused. I don't think he actually called anyone. You just said he did. I meant he might have. I'm not sure. Judge Caprio's voice stays calm. Ms. Romano, lying under oath is perjury. Choose your words carefully. She sits back down, breathing fast now. The confidence is gone. If you're still watching, subscribe. Justice is about to be served. Judge Caprio opens another document. Ms. Romano, I've reviewed your driving record. She says nothing. 3 speeding tickets in the past 18 months, 2 parking violations in school zones, 1 reckless driving warning. Victoria tries to minimize it. Your Honor, everyone gets tickets. Not everyone ignores them, he continues. You failed to pay 2 of the speeding tickets. You challenged the school zone violations and lost. You never completed the required traffic safety course. Your Honor, I was busy. Busy doing what? She doesn't have an answer. Judge Caprio sets the document down. Ms. Romano, you have shown a pattern of believing rules don't apply to you. She stays silent. You drove drunk. You destroyed government property. You threatened a police officer. You claimed immunity you don't have. His voice remains measured. And now you've admitted your father attempted to interfere with your case. Elliot Vance makes one last attempt. Your Honor, my client is remorseful and willing to... Judge Caprio raises his hand. Counselor, your client has shown 0 remorse. She's shown arrogance, entitlement, and contempt for this court. He turns to Victoria. Ms. Romano, Stand up. She stands slowly, hands shaking now. For driving under the influence, destruction of government property, and resisting arrest, I sentence you to 90 days in county jail. Victoria's mouth opens. No sound comes out. For threatening a police officer and making false claims of immunity, an additional 30 days. Elliot Vance tries to speak. Judge Caprio continues. $7,000 in fines, 2-year license suspension, mandatory completion of substance abuse counseling. Victoria finds her voice. Your Honor, this is way too harsh for a traffic incident. Judge Caprio cuts her off. This isn't a traffic incident, Ms. Romano. This is a pattern of criminal behavior. She starts crying, real tears now. Your Honor, please. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. You're sorry now. You weren't sorry when you threatened Officer Denton. You weren't sorry when you claimed immunity. You weren't sorry 30 seconds ago. Victoria's voice cracks. Your Honor, my father will... Judge Caprio's voice drops to ice. Your father will what, Ms. Romano? She stops, realizes what she was about to say. Nothing, Your Honor. That's correct. Nothing. Because your father's position means nothing in this courtroom. Judge Caprio picks up his gavel. Additionally, for contempt of court, demonstrated by your disrespect, your phone use, and your continued assertions of privilege, I'm remanding you into custody immediately. Victoria's face goes white. Your Honor, you can't do this. I just did. I'm Senator Romano's daughter. That's irrelevant. You can't touch me. There it is, the line from the thumbnail. Judge Caprio's response is instant. Bailiff, take Ms. Romano into custody. Officer Denton approaches with handcuffs. Victoria backs away. Your Honor, please. This is illegal. You can't arrest me. Judge Caprio's voice stays level. Ms. Romano, you're under arrest for contempt of court. You have the right to remain silent. The handcuffs click around her wrists. Victoria starts screaming. I want to call my father, right now. I want to call him. Judge Caprio responds quietly. Ms. Romano, after we investigate your claims about his involvement, your father may need to call his own attorney. That stops her. Officer Denton begins leading her toward the side door. She's still crying, still protesting. This isn't fair. You can't do this to me. Judge Caprio watches her go. His expression never changes. Ms. Romano, fairness is exactly what this is. The door closes behind her. The courtroom remains silent. Elliot Vance gathers his papers, says nothing, leaves quickly. Judge Caprio turns to the clerk. Please ensure all proceedings today are forwarded to the FBI's Public Integrity Section as discussed. Yes, Your Honor. He looks at Officer Denton. Officer, thank you for your professionalism throughout this entire incident. Thank you, Your Honor. Judge Caprio closes the file. This court stands in recess. Should privilege ever be a defense? Comment below and subscribe to All Rise for more real justice. Outside the courthouse, news cameras capture everything. Victoria Romano being led to a transport vehicle, handcuffs visible, face red from crying, still shouting about her father. The footage spreads within hours. National news picks it up. Senator's daughter arrested after claiming immunity. By evening, Senator Anthony Romano holds a press conference. He looks tired, defeated. I want to address the incident involving my daughter Victoria. He pauses. Her behavior was unacceptable. Her claims were false. My office did not contact the Department of Justice. We did not attempt to interfere. Another pause. Victoria will face the consequences of her actions. No one in my family is above the law. He takes no questions. Walks away. 3 months later, Victoria Romano sits in county jail. The designer clothes are gone. The attitude is gone. She's quiet now. Compliant. Different. She writes letters to Officer Denton, apologizing, taking responsibility. He doesn't respond, doesn't need to. She completes substance abuse counseling, attends every session, actually listens. Judge Caprio reviews her progress reports, notes improvement, but doesn't reduce the sentence. Accountability, he writes in his notes, isn't negotiable. 4 months after sentencing, Victoria is released. She leaves jail quietly. No cameras this time, no statements. Her father doesn't pick her up, sends a driver instead. Victoria sits in the back seat, stares out the window, says nothing. The driver asks if she wants to stop anywhere. She shakes her head, just wants to go home. 6 months after the hearing, Judge Caprio receives a letter, handwritten, from Victoria Romano. It's short. Your Honor, I understand now. Thank you for treating me like everyone else. For the first time in my life, someone held me accountable. It saved me. Victoria Romano. Judge Caprio files it away. Doesn't respond. The lesson is complete. 1 year later, Providence implements new policies. Body camera footage must be preserved for all traffic stops involving public officials' families. No exceptions. Claims of immunity must be investigated immediately. No delays. Attempts to influence cases trigger automatic FBI review. No warnings. The changes spread. Other courts adopt similar policies. Other judges cite the Romano case. It becomes precedent. Not legal precedent. Moral precedent. 2 years later, someone asks Judge Caprio about the case, about Victoria Romano, about that moment when she said, "You can't touch me." Judge Caprio's response is simple. She was wrong. In this country, justice touches everyone. He pauses. That's not a threat. That's a promise. If you believe justice should be blind to privilege, subscribe to All Rise. More real cases, real accountability, real justice. The case file closes with a final note from Judge Caprio. Ms. Romano entered this courtroom believing her last name made her untouchable. She left understanding that accountability has no exceptions. The law doesn't ask who your father is. It asks what you did. And if what you did breaks the law breaks back. Not with vengeance, with justice. That's the only kind that lasts. Victoria Romano came to court expecting special treatment. She left with handcuffs and a lesson. The handcuffs came off after 4 months. The lesson will last forever, because privilege doesn't protect you in Judge Caprio's courtroom. Character does. And that day, Victoria had none. But she left with the chance to build some. That's not mercy. That's justice. And justice, when done right, doesn't just punish, it transforms. This story is a dramatization for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not legal advice, reporting, or a depiction of real events. All names, locations, and circumstances are fictional.